Alright, on to the cutting. Guess I don't have a pencil nearby. When you don't have a pencil, you use a knife. And they do actually make marking knives. And for what this is gonna be, it don't gotta be perfect, so I need 4 of these this length. What do you know? I think I can get them all along. Yay! And that's actually some long enough to, I shouldn't hang on to it, but I'm going to. Alright. I need 9 inches wide. This should be about 3. So I need 4 more at 6 inches. I should have a couple short cutoffs here. Definitely was not a straight cut from the factory. This is the one measurement I do need to be somewhat close with, so. I don't know if you can see this or not, but here it is. That little mark there is how I'm measuring this stuff. And then I'm cheating and using the other piece to measure it out so I don't have to re-measure everything. If I was gonna do like 100 of these, I'd actually rig up a stop block, but I'm not doing that many, so I'm being lazy. It would be really nice if I could get all 4 of them out of this. I think I'm going to be a hair short. Yep, about an inch short. Sliding. I don't need you to be a slider right now. I'm not cutting anything wide. There's a little clip on it that keeps it from moving. Really nice feature to have. Also not totally necessary all the time. Now I've got to go measure my jointer, see how long it is so I can get some legs ripped up, and then yeah, so I will be right back. Okay, I got the other measurement I needed. So I need 2 more of these boards cut at 4 more of these boards cut at 43 inches. I think I can get it out of 1, but I'm gonna grab 2 just to be on the safe side. way too much with one hand. And then pull those out later if I need to. A couple of staples are in them, so gotta watch out for that. Alright, so I want my final height to be 43 inches. The joints we're mounting is, the work bed is 9 inches off the top. Or I want the work bed at 43 inches. It's 9 inches from the bottom of the machine. It's actually like 8.5, but I'm not going to argue for an inch. It's easier to do everything in whole numbers. So I need 34. So I actually need 4 of these at 34 for my 43-inch work table. I'm almost thinking it'd be worth buying a couple of 4x4s to do this instead, but this is going to be cheaper. And this is also where I absolutely have to have the same heights for everything. That's why. I think this blade's finally getting dull. That should be good. More. Glad I grabbed another board. Try to work this in without hitting everything, even though I'm still managed to hit the tripod from my tablet. I'm filming this on my iPad today because my phone's on out of data. Out of data, out of memory. But hey, it happens, especially when you do way too much. Alright. This end didn't get cut. Because I have the wrong piece, that's why. Thought something looked off. Alright. I'm trying to avoid using that with the staples on it. And I'm also going to put a shelf in here the same way I build in my shelves on my aquarium stands. Super sturdy, super solid, way overbuilt for what it's going to hold, but it's honestly a lot faster, easier, and it'll double these legs up because I'm going to need a bigger base. So yeah. I think I'm going to throw a time lapse up for the table saw because I'm actually on all these. I want to take one of the rounded edges off. Actually, I might just do it all real time. And if you guys ever want to, if you want me to incorporate time lapses, let me know because I got to figure out a way to get music or something during those sections. Wish I could just throw on like a Mythbusters episode and let them talk for a minute, but you know, stupid copyright laws and all that. It should actually be it. So I'm gonna lock this bad boy down, put you guys where I'm standing, then we're gonna fire up the table saw, rip all those down, and cut a piece of plywood to size, and then we are on to the next step. So I just made a mistake. We're not talking about it. It's not a big deal. I just cut 2 boards down I shouldn't have. So for these, this is a 2x3 that I've been cutting down. They're 2.5 inches wide by 1.5 inches thick. So I've got this set to 2 1/8. I want to knock off one side of these roundovers. And actually, I only need to do 2 of these, 2 of those. No, I do need to do all of them. I do want to hit all of them. All right. Yep. I flustered myself making a mistake, so now I'm overthinking. So we're going to rip these down, and then we're going to go and start putting this thing together. After I cut down this piece of plywood to the right size on my table saw to keep everything square. One quick safety thing I will say, if you're running a table saw, don't do what I do, always keep the blade guard on. It goes over the top and prevents you from dropping anything on the blade while it's running. Only thing that I use is my riving knife. I will not run this saw or any table saw without it. Some people, I'm sure, will make fun of me eventually about not using the blade guard, but I don't care. I'm alert enough to where I feel comfortable without using it. If you're new to woodworking and you want it on, keep it on. Don't let anybody make fun of you. It's there for your own safety. Okay, 4 more cuts. I had to go off my little rant. Doing this at 9 p.m. on the 4th of July, but hey, these fireworks are going to be insane tonight around this area, so I don't feel too bad. So that's all the support pieces I needed. Now I just need to cut the plywood down, and in order to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is set my blade down. Blade to be, I like it to be about 1/2 or 1/4 inch or so above the top of the wood. That way, if you do mess up and cut your hand, it's not going to be crazy deep. And then I actually have calibrated my saw fence, and if you're ever not sure, take a tape measure. Like this one needs to be, what is it, 9 by 20, I think. I cut those at 22, so I'm going to need that at least 22 inches. So I'm just going to rip this down to make 2 cuts at 9. And the other one will matter on the bottom, the top, not so much. So if you're ever not sure, you just take a tape measure, put it up your blade. Make sure when you're doing it this way that you measure your line. The line you want should be on the side of the blade that your fence is on. So like for me, I want it to the right. And I'm within a 32nd of an inch to both, which is, for woodworking, plenty close enough. Actually, when I was a machinist, that was the tightest tolerance we had to worry about holding for all the stuff I did. Which was really nice, because that's 30 cal is huge. Now I want this at 22 to cut it to length this way. I should have done it this way first, then done the shorter cut, but hey, it's too late now, so here we go. This. Those four. Those four. These four. And I'm going to add a reinforcement to these guys. And actually I might not, because I don't know if I want to put this particular table on wheels, because it's going to be small enough I can lift easily. I might just leave it like this and add a few reinforcements if I feel I need them later on. But for today's video, this is all I'm cutting up. I think this is going to be enough. So now we're onto the workbench. I will move everything over and see you all there. Okay, I'm back. So now we need, as I rearrange stuff, we need our side supports. And I decided I'm not going to try adding a shelf to this tonight, because if I do, I'm going to need to make something. I need to do more cuts, and it's 9:05 and I don't run power tools after 10 p.m. So these are going to be future add-ons. So I actually only needed to cut up my legs and this. So with that said, we are going to dry fit everything to make sure I didn't mess up too bad. This is a shop infrastructure project, so if I did make minor mistakes, it's fine because I'm the only one that has to deal with them and look at them. So that all feels nice and good. I'm gonna glue this up and screw it down because it ain't going anywhere. This is gonna be, and by the time we're done, I'm at least setting my jointer on here. If I don't have what I need to hard mount it, we're still gonna show you what it's supposed to look like. But with that, that looks good. So I'm gonna use a little baby square just to make sure everything's squared up. It is gonna get moved, but I like to make sure everything's good to go. You can actually feel up to about 5 thousandths with your fingers. They're the most nerve-filled part of your body. So, yep, all right. So with that said, that's good. So yeah, that should be good. We're gonna run our screws in here because the way I've cut this, my screws, when I mount it, will be coming from, as I'm out of frame, my screws will be coming from the bottom up. Okay. Gotta make sure I'm still in my frame. So my screws will actually be sitting in there like this once the machine is mounted. So that way I can I'll just help keep everything in line. So yeah, this is gonna be ridiculously made. I'm not even sure if these are gonna fit. Check this for the other two, actually. Yeah, because if I put them in like this, it's going to be super duper close. That should give it a little more room. All right. And yeah, I definitely went overkill on making the shelf without doing this step first. So we're just going to get the basic, like I keep saying, we're going to knock out the basic table, and then I will possibly add onto this on the live stream. I'm thinking about doing one later in the day that this is set to come out, which is July 5th. It's coming out on July 5th. It's the 4th of July right now. That's why you're hearing the fireworks in the background. So this is full. If this wasn't, I do buy glue by the gallon jug, so it's also the same stuff I use for cutting boards. I might actually go live for a little bit as soon as I'm done with this to do a glue up on a cutting board and just kind of chill out for a minute. But now we're just gonna slap a little glue on all of these. Got some air pockets in there apparently. Boom, 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 boom. Sounds like my neighbors are having fun. That brush is still full of glue. I do like these that are specifically designed for spreading wood glue. They're actually made by the same brand that makes or the same company that makes the wood glue I like. Good old Tight Bond. Just helps keep your fingers a little cleaner. Not that it really matters. I spread glue with my bare hands too, but I got some stuff I'm doing later that I need my fingers cleaned for. I don't want to waste time waiting for glue to dry. And pop that off. start, we are actually going to dry fit these up. Oh, semi-dry fit them up. Yeah, despite my best efforts, I've already got glue on the fingers. I tried. So, I don't want that glue getting into my machine. So we are going to pop that onto there. Get that all snugged up. Scooch all that down. And if these aren't perfect, I'm not gonna cry too much. I just want to make sure everything is as close as I can get it. And then we are just gonna pop a couple screws. I'm gonna cut right here. I think I have shorter ones in the back. I got some different screws. I love my Craig screws, but sometimes the Torx heads that are a bit shorter win out. These sunk just below level with this too. That way everything will be solidly in there, and it'll still leave this nice and flat. So if you're wondering what I'm looking for, it's that these screws are sank just below flush. Now we're going to flip this back over. And now I want my Craig screws for the sides because they are longer. That. Okay. Here's that one. That side's good. If I was doing this with 2x4s or an aquarium stand, I'd actually be putting at least 3 of these screws in here to hold it together. But I normally don't glue aquarium stands together, although that was also before I understood just how hard wood glue holds. So anything that's ordered now will be glued together. I'm actually thinking about saving up and getting that 125 minimum by the Christmas, which if I do, you all will be included in the aquarium stand build for that, because that's going to be pretty epic for the size. Although it'll basically be this minus, I can't even say minus this top board, because if I end up not going the glass route and I'm able to find an acrylic aquarium stand that I can afford, then it will actually have to have support over the whole piece, because acrylic will bow and eventually crack and break, whereas glass is engineered to hold the weight of at the bottom of the tank, plus gravel and everything else. So for acrylic stains, you have to actually include a board on the bottom to support the whole base. I didn't space those out very well. I gotta be honest, part of me's thinking about not putting legs on this tonight because I'm thinking about adding this to the side of my mobile workbench that I want to get made here soon. So I'm not going to glue the legs on, I'm just going to run a screw into them. Well, actually probably 2 or 3. That way we can take them out if necessary. But yeah, so 2 more here and then we're adding legs. That one ain't gonna hold it. Thing's hot. Last screw. Hopefully, if this one goes in to the point where it'll hold tight. Okay. Done with the torque size, back to the Craig's. And that's square. That's square, that's square. I need a little clamp. Do I have one handy? No, I don't. Alright. Well, we'll try to barehand it, and if I need to, I'll cut out and grab one real quick. Run one screw in there. That way this will hold it tight. That side's square. That side's way off now. Alright, well, we're gonna lock this in, and it should pull out a little bit as we run a couple others in. Did pull it. We're a little off, but that's also to be expected, so at this point I'm not going to worry about it. And if I decide I want to remount this in a different way, then I'm within a 30-second of square on that one. So now we're gonna roll that around, Of course, you guys can't see that, so throw that right there. Get this guy. And I don't have enough of my blue Craig screws. So I'm gonna have to cut after this one and go grab some more. Really loud when you put your ear right next to one of these legs. Holy cow. Alright. Okay, that one's nice and square. So we will Okay. I think I might actually just cheat and do the other one of these off camera and show you how everything goes together. Ouch. And I need to find a shorter driver bit if I can find one real quick. And this was a clean shirt, now it's covered in wood glue. That's why it's called work clothes, right? Since you guys couldn't see that, I just put a screw in there and a couple on each side. And actually, further on down here, because these legs are collapsing on each other really bad, I'm actually going to use one of these guys because they are though. I'm gonna have to get a measurement there and figure out a way to mount everything together. Just spread that out so they stay straight. Alright. I'm also getting to the point where it's too late to do anything else cutting wise, so I'm gonna cut here, put the other two legs on, then I'll come back and we'll talk about how everything gets mounted and what the actual machine's for. So I will be back in a few. And I'm back. I got the other two legs on, and as you can see from there, I did end up cutting a spacer to spread them out. And this is the machine that I'm making this table for, all ready to mount it up. We're gonna mount this planer. Plug this guy in. just a little too tight on mine. Okay, it'll work. I don't think these. Yeah, they might. It'd be really nice if they just engineered them to mount hard with a Craig screw, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get some washers and or some bigger headed screws to mount that hard. But yeah, so that's what this table's for. And then what this actual machine does, yeah, it's a piece of Paduke. It's a lot brighter than it looks in video. Let's see, where's my camera at? There it is. It's hard to see in video, but it's really rough. It's got a real rough edge on it. And all this guy does, I can already tell you from those two passes, this is going to be mounting something to something bigger. But see how much brighter that wood is now? It's also almost perfectly smooth. This is what you use when you're milling up boards, because then I can take this. I did do this side earlier. You only usually do one side or the other. Then you pop this against a table saw, rip it down with the blade, and that's how you make. It's actually how the first step in making cutting boards, getting your wood smooth and usable. If you'll pardon the wire for this guy, I used it to get all of that started. So, yep, that's the basics of making a very simple shop table.